Hi everybody, John here from Gaming in the Wild, and I've got a new video for you today. After the truly crazy May Indie-geddon, it's now the start of June and things are slowing down a little bit with Summer Games Fest coming up, but there are still loads and loads of indies coming out, so I've done a bit of research for you and I've pulled out 10 that I think look interesting. As usual, there's loads of fun stuff coming out. We've got everything from a robot journalist simulator to a camping game to a mystery set on a train that no one knows the destination of. If you like this video, likes are appreciated. You can always subscribe to the channel for more like this and let me know what you're looking forward to this June in the comments, and I will let you know about the channel's Patreon at the end. So buckle up and let's get into it. The first game that I have for you is a very cute and cozy one. It's called Fireside. It's coming out on the 4th of the month on Steam. It's developed by OUTBRK and published by Nordcurrent, and this one is a colourful and cartoony isometric camping game, but it has a strong story focus to it as well. It looks like the gameplay is focused on exploring trails in the wilderness, making camp, meeting people, and talking around the campfire. And I don't know about where you guys are, but it's really crappy weather where I am, so I think I could use a little bit of virtual camping. So I'll definitely be checking out Fireside when it comes out on the 4th. Also on the 4th, Life by You is due to enter early access, but it looks like it's been delayed. I'm going to let you know about it anyway because it's an interesting looking title, especially if you like The Sims. This one is developed and published by Paradox, and it's a Sims-like life sim kind of game with a lot packed into it. You can build houses, you can do the interior decoration, you can even design quests and model objects yourself. It's not my favourite genre, but I know a lot of you out there love Sims-like stuff, so keep an eye on that one for later in the year. That's Life by You. This next one comes out on the 7th and it's called Dragon is Dead, developed by Team Sunny and published by PM Studios. It's coming out on Steam only at first, and it's a hack and slash roguelike action platformer with RPG elements including a skill tree, weapon upgrades and all that kind of jazz. It looks a bit like Blasphemous, except with less of a kind of crazy Catholic feel and more just like straight fantasy. So if you're after a bit more of that pixel art side-on action, check out Dragon is Dead when it launches on the 7th. On the 12th of June, we get a really interesting looking title called Tracks of Thought, developed by Tidbits Play and published by Freedom Games. This one's coming out on PC and Mac only at first, but it looks like ports are in the future. It's a cute RPG talk-em-up, as the developers say, set on a train. It has a really cute art style with these kind of bulbous vegetable characters wandering around everywhere. But the twist here is that no one on the train can remember anything. They don't remember where it's going, they don't remember where they came from, and so you have to wander from carriage to carriage, talking to your fellow passengers, talking to the conductor, and there's a card-based conversation system so you can try and get information out of them and piece together the mystery. I think that's a really interesting premise and it looks lovely, so I'm really looking forward to finding out more. That's Tracks of Thought coming out on the 12th of June. On the 18th of the month, we get Blood, developed by Exit73 and published by Humble. This is a striking, action-packed looking game that takes visual influence from 90s cartoons like Ren and Stimpy. The premise is that you're a schoolgirl who gets drawn into being a vampire slayer, so by night you have to go into the underworld and use your hockey stick to whack monsters. It looks fast and furious and action-packed, so I'm looking forward to trying out Blood on the 18th of June. Also on the 18th, we've got one of the indie heavy hitters of the month, and that is Still Wakes the Deep, developed by the Chinese Room, the makers of Dear Esther, and published by Secret Mode. If you're a console player who's been despairing over all these Steam exclusive releases, then you can play this one. It's coming to PS5, Steam, and Xbox, including a Day 1 Game Pass release. This one's a horror exploration game set on an abandoned Scottish oil rig in 1975. It looks mega creepy with realistic graphics, dark dripping corridors, empty control rooms and living quarters, and a mysterious paranormal horror element that we haven't seen much of in the trailers so far, which I really appreciate. We do know there's no combat in this game, so expect more of an Alien Isolation vibe than a Dead Space, unless they've been tricking us and holding stuff back. Really can't wait for this one. That Still Wakes the Deep, coming out on the 18th of June. On the 20th, we get the Elden Ring DLC, but that's certainly not an indie game, but I'm sure a lot of you From sickos out there will be diving into that one. But on the 21st, I will be diving into Times and Galaxy by Copy Chaser Games and published by a fellow traveller. This one's a cartoony, story-forward sci-fi adventure in which you play a junior reporter interning an interstellar holopaper. It looks like there's a mixture of visual novel dialogue with some walking around in different spaces trying to get stories. I think this is a really fun premise. We don't see many games about journalism and reporting, and as a journalist myself, I'm very curious to see what they've done here. So I'll be playing this one for sure. That's Times and Galaxy, coming out on the 21st of June. On the 27th, we get a port of Tchia, which is finally coming to the Switch. This is a wonderful little tropical exploration game that came out on PlayStation last year. I really like this one, especially that you can possess different objects like a beach ball or a boulder, and you can roll around the islands. You can also possess birds and fly over the mountain peaks. It has beautiful dynamic weather effects and a really cool dark fairy tale story based on New Caledonian folklore. A really nice little game, this one. I will say that there's a caveat. It is going to be on Switch, so I'm quite curious how it will perform. If you are at all concerned with fidelity in your games, you might want to wait for this one and watch the reviews, but it's a hearty recommend from me. That's the Switch port of Tchia, coming out on the 27th of June. There's a really interesting one coming out on the 28th. It's called OUTBRK, spelled OUTBRK, developed and published by Sublime, and it's coming out on Steam only at first. It's listed as going into early access, but the devs have also tweeted that the game is releasing, so a bit of confused messaging there. But it's a really good idea for a game. This is a professional storm chasing game where you go driving around crazy dynamic weather systems trying to get as close as possible. There's a risk management system, so you can try and figure out if you're going to make it or not. You have to collect data about the storms, and you can buy, upgrade, and customize different vehicles. The devs also boast that there's a 625 square kilometer play area with topographical features to navigate like rivers, canyons, plains, towns, and forests. So if you remember the old Twister movies and you wanted to have a go yourself, check out OUTBRK, coming out on the 28th of June. And the last game that I have here is another interesting one. It's called Ghostboy, also coming out on the 28th. It's developed and published by Two Blackbirds. And this one's a really nicely presented tower defense game with an unusual dreamy art style for this genre. And that's because it's based in the subconscious. It has a psychologically based story, and the gameplay is about fending off negative thoughts that are encroaching and exploring a family's tumultuous history. I love this idea and it looks just great, so I'll be checking out Ghostboy when it comes out on the 28th of June. So I hope you enjoyed hearing about my top 10 indie picks for the month ahead. I always find out about loads of great games in the comments. Last month's video really popped off and people let me know about all kinds of interesting games. And I have been trying them out too, so if you've got any indie games in mind that you think I've missed out on this list or games that I haven't heard of yet, then please do drop them in the comments and I'll take a look. I'd also like to take a moment to say a big thank you to the channel's latest patrons. So thank you very much to Seth and Josh. Also thank you very much to Mike Sampier, who is the first boss tier patron. If you're interested in supporting this channel and all of the stuff that I do, then you can go to patreon.com/gaminginthewild and sign up for as little as $1 a month. You will get bonus podcast episodes, you'll get behind the scenes blogs on how I make the videos, and you'll also get an invite to the show's cozy patron-only Discord server, where I find out about a lot of new games, and you can too. That's patreon.com/gaminginthewild, and I'll put a link in the description. That's it for this video, so until next time, take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you on the next one.